Started with our second live and final masterclass. We have Claudio Erba with us, and the theme of the second masterclass is how to build a company from 0 to 1,000 employees. Just to give you a bit of background about Claudio, he's the founder of
Docebo.
Italian.
Yeah,
okay.
Very Italian.
The world's most powerful learning platform built for the business of learning. And Docebo helps organizations around the world deliver scalable, personalized learning to customers, partners, and employees, driving productivity, engagement, revenue, and growth. And under his leadership, Docebo went from 0 to 1,000 employees, $200 million in yearly revenue, whilst being profitable. And you've IPO'd on the Toronto Stock Exchange as well as NASDAQ in 2020 with a market cap consistently over $1 billion. So amazing to have you here and talk to you about this super important topic that I know you're very passionate about. So welcome to the Masterclass series. And again, we'll leave the last 15 minutes of the session for Q&A. First question that I wanted to ask you, Claudio, is because when we first talked, this is a topic that obviously is very close to your heart, and you've been talking about to, I think, universities, or you've had different, you have a whole presentation and a whole deck about this. So why are you so passionate, basically my question was about this topic, about growing and thinking about growing such an early stage of the startup journey?
Well, first of all, good evening, late afternoon, what time is it? I don't know. Actually, I'm the former CEO of Docebo, now let's say retired, not very retired, but ambitious. My ambitious is to be retired. A lot of people in Europe, I don't know how many European companies went public to the NASDAQ. We learned something, and a lot of people in Europe continuously complaining that there is a lack of ecosystem in Europe. And many people say that ecosystem equal capital, which is not true. Capital, there is big enough capital out there. Every company I know is raising capital, so there is liquidity. What's missing is a blueprint of execution. How to scale a business. It's kind of easy to arrive to 1 million. It took 7 years to get to 1 million, so it was easy for you. But in 2005, I assure you that it was not that easy. We were like after the dot-com bubble in 2001, blah, 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 blah. But what's missing is a blueprint of execution that will help you and your company, your peers, your manager to scale or to get the ambitions to arrive at least to 1,001 employees. Why 1,001? Because I've arrived to 1,000 and I want you to be better than me. So what I've done is try to remember this 19 years journey where I survived and try to put together a set of topics that highlight how the company change shape, skin, processes when you are from 0 to 10 employees, 10 to 50, 50 to 100, 150, and whatever, up to 1,000. Don't ask me what happened after, because I stopped the journey before.
I think there's enough to talk about to get to 1,000. And founders are often, surprised because they might start their business to solve a problem, and they're very hands-on in the product at the beginning. But then very early on, you start having to focus a lot on hiring or fundraising. But talking about hiring, which is obviously the theme of the masterclass, how much time do you think a founder needs to be dedicating to HR matters and hiring and building a company culture from the get-go?
So first of all, welcome to the entrepreneurial life. This is life. It's not only product, unfortunately. First of all, my thesis is that the business is not an engine. A company is not an engine with everything is well orchestrated. The company is made of humans. Humans are the center, the pillar, and always will be the pillar of the company, in the good and in the bad. So I believe that as entrepreneur, and I'm not saying CEO, I'm saying entrepreneur, you have your company, and your company is made of people. There are different level of people, and you need to empathize with each one of them. I'm not sure that when you are a 20, 30 employee company, you need to have 5 of them that are C-level. I'm joking with Francesca, the Docebo CHRO, that you are giving a C-level role out to everyone. I mean, the guy at the bakery is the C bakery guy, and no, don't give it. I mean, wait, the people need to deserve this. But about the thing that I have learned the most and that really shaped my life, my career, my wealth, is the role and the impact that transformational people can have in an organization. If you are lucky, you will have, let's say, 3, 4, 5, over 1,000 people that enter in the organization, focus on a specific department. Maybe they are not C-level, they are someone else, and reshape completely for good that specific department. This happened to me at least 2 times. One when Alessio, the actual CEO of Docebo, entered and reshaped the team, the sales team, the revenue team. And the second is when Ian Kitson, pre-IPO, entered in the organization, and in 1 year, literally, he reshaped the financial organization team to be ready to deliver result at the 10th of the month at the end of the quarter, when we were really, literally, having the accounting done through an Italian Zucchetti software, I don't know, 4 books, whatever, in the United States, and then we had the Dubai office, we never know, probably was outsourced to someone. And then he came in, and he came literally from the waste industry, that he didn't know nothing about software as a service. He entered 3 months to understand what are recurring revenues, blah, 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 and he reshaped the organization. You need those people. You need those people at every stage of the organization, but realize that people that works when you are 1 to 50 probably will not, can happen that they will not be a great fit for a 500, 1,000.
In fact, that actually leads right to this follow-up question about that, because at the beginning you need people who are putting their hands everywhere, right? That are like, that don't necessarily have a lot of structure. They are hired for something, but they're going to be doing other things as well, because obviously it's a startup and everybody does everything. But at some point you need specialists and people who are experts. How did you go, from to that phase, but also any recommendations for founders who are going through that, which is a really hard time, because sometimes you have to let go people because they're not the right people for the second journey or second phase of the startup?
So yeah, I mean, this is completely true. I mean, the scrappy people, we use the word and I love it, are people that when you are very small, let's say 25, 30, 40, are really hands-on and can do the job, can do done, okay? Those people are great and they usually outperform the specialist in specific role. Let me give you an example. We had, when we opened our first office in the United States, a guy that was incredibly great, let's say 24 years old guy in sales. And he had a 1.5 million quota per year hit every year. And I mean, you can imagine that with commissions, it can make probably a few $100,000 per year, and you think that those people are very wise and they're going to repay back the debt of the university in the United States. No, he bought a Ford truck with like wheels like this. Let's say that we discovered that over time, this person was not replicable, because when you go up and you need to scale, you cannot have only a rock star in the organization, and you have to hire specialists. And when you sell software to enterprise, you need an account executive, a sales engineering, and a sales consultant, 3 people to do this guy job. The real problem is not if they are specialists or not. Well, what I've seen is that people, to grow in the organization, they need to be manager of people, manager of humans, which is a very hard job, because you are dealing, you need to empathize with a lot of different attitudes. So sometimes happen that people that are with you from day one, you can do 2 things. Try to find him, her, or someone, another role. And you know that this is not optimal, nor for the company and not for the person because the person feels it, that is there in a corner just because you want to be grateful for what this person has done in the organization, or you let them go. And it's happened, it's life of the entrepreneur, and some of them spontaneously say, I love the startup environment, you are becoming a dinosaur, so please let me go. Or on the other side, you need to have very frank conversation. For me, what works is having frank conversation, say, we made this journey together, it's time to, find other things, but you need to do it very ethically, and you need to be very generous. If you are generous and ethical, and you speak, when you speak about that, usually they take the decision on their own. It's not like you are fired. So where we are now, where do we see each other in 2 years? Are you comfortable with what you're doing? Are you happy? Are you enjoying like 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Whatever it is.
Yeah, those are great tips, and keeping the human aspect, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Always, right? Because sometimes in companies you can lose a little bit touch, and there's ways of doing things, even the hard conversations. And getting a little bit more specific into structuring the company, reporting. What do you see as the ideal reporting line? And should all executives, for example, report to the CEO? How does the CEO role change over time from going to 0 to 1,000? So, question.
So, first of all, I think that there is not a golden rule. That the reporting, first of all, when I say that we need a blueprint, it doesn't mean that one ring will rule them all. There are different blueprints for different industries, different geographies, different markets. First of all, I speak B2B and I speak enterprise B2B. If you are in the tourism software, in the tourism space or restaurant, don't speak with me, you will go bankrupt in 2 days. But the second thing is the organization framework is driven by the industry you are in and the people. There are different founders with different skills. If you have a CEO that is a product visionary but really hates sales, you need to have a kind of COO that oversees everything else but product. Okay? So in this case, the COO role makes sense. But if you have a smart CEO with a smart chief revenue officer and a smart product person, and the CEO is solid enough to handle, you don't need a CEO. Or on the opposite, if you have a CEO that is only on sales and don't give a shit about product, which happen, you need a very solid product person that handles product professional services and stuff like that. So the organization framework is really fluid, it needs to be flexible, and wait a lot before hiring C-level and appointing C-level when you are 10 people. You don't need that.
Let's not talk about specific ways to structure a team, because as we mentioned earlier, you have a blueprint. So in your experience, obviously it can't apply to every single business. But starting with the marketing and sales team, which most companies, most startups here that are tech-based have, how should a team evolve as a startup grows and scales through the different phases from 0 to 1,000, with the breakdowns that you had mentioned? So 0 to 50, 50 to 100? Yeah.
That's okay. So first of all, let's take the example of the enterprise B2B. Let's say ticket $60,000 and above, customer above 500 employees, which require a specific structure. And then after, you have to remember, because I'm an old guy, I don't remember anything. Let's touch a little bit a company that sells to small business, which have different dynamics. Both of them probably, when you are 10 employees, the sales are made by the account executive and the CEO. You don't need anyone else. You just need to validate the market, you need to speak with the customer, you need to sell, and probably the CEO will also do the demo and probably answer the phone to do help desk. That's fine. Then when you are, let's say, 10, 100, in this case, we can start thinking to add at least a BDR layer. I mean, there is, and also inbound BDR. So when you have those people, they qualify the lead, and then they pass the baton to the account executive to close the deal. What I have seen is that the later you hire BDR, the better it is. Because if you give to account executive the duty to build their own pipeline, they will build internal methodology and best practice. Then when you decide to trigger, if needed, the BDR, to open the BDR team, they are the people that train the BDR people. They know how this happens. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, because you have an account executive that knows the process and can train and teach and grow the BDR. And by the way, the BDR are the starting point to become an account executive. So there are career opportunities, and they have a lot of different ways to be motivated, like commission, promotion, you can become a team leader in the BDR and then an account executive, etc. And then the problems start, because when you go to 100, 500, the first thing that you will notice is that you will lose productivity. Because the layer of people, I mean, when you have 10 BDR, probably you need a team leader of the BDR. When you have 10 account executive, you need a team leader of account executive. So the first thing that happens is increase of cost of customer acquisition. Because we have people that are not quota carry, but they need to stay in the organization. And then the second problem you have is scalability. Because when you hire not only the rockstar 1.5 million, but let's say a $700,000 people, you lose productivity. And not all of them are rockstar, and then you need to hire specialized functions. So together with the account executive that have only the duty to close the deal, you have to hire sales engineering that answer the technical question, and then you have to hire the sales consultant that are the people with beautiful lights on Zoom and everything, that they prepare the demo and they run the demo, and they are a kind of influencer of the software as a service, call it as you want. And then you are losing productivity, because commission need to be split with 3 people. So your gross margin, I mean, you start getting a lot of ARR compounding, which is good, but on the flip side, everything on the gross margin is start getting compression, because the cost of sales is quite high. And then you start, I mean, I forgot marketing, I hate marketing. Because marketing, in my opinion, should not be a department, but it's a job function. But this is another topic. So marketing there are different ways of marketing, but 100 to 500, probably you need to have at least demand generation. You need to have events, which is very important, and branding. But in my opinion, branding does not belong to sales. So it's another marketing that does another job. What worked very well, I hate marketing, but I love account-based marketing. I mean, marketing that targets specific customers with like gifts, events, Formula One, VIP seat and whatever, which really change your ideal customer profile, your buyer persona in a specific company. It works. It doesn't work if you sell small businesses who have $2,000 yearly revenues, but for big checks is important. At the end of the journey, you have what's called sales operations. That means a group of people that manage the operation of sales and supervise the sales department. Don't ask me what they do. I struggle understanding, but I've been told that they are useful. I was making a mistake saying useless. I'm sorry. I'm told they are useful.
And in terms of like some of the biggest mistakes that you've made while hiring and building out your sales and marketing team, let's say more sales team, mistakes and lessons learned, something that, you know, and here you could have.
So, usually you are aware of the mistakes in retrospective, not while you are doing it. But, first of all, sales machine is a beast. Because the mistake you are doing now will have impact on the pipeline in 6 months, and to fix the pipeline takes a little year.
if you have a sales cycle of 9 months, this is mathematics, it's not numbers that are thrown like, I don't know. So, the first thing is react super quickly when there is something wrong. And I can make 2 examples. When the pipeline start going flat or shrink or not growing at the speed, you don't have to start analyzing and let's speak with the board in the next quarter. No, jump on it, go hands-on, fix it. Or try to fix it, because sometimes you don't know, because there is this marketing sales attribution thing. Sales says marketing, marketing says sales. And maybe it's both, and maybe there are the wrong people. And on the fixing side, you need to hire fast, fire faster. Especially in sales. If they don't deliver, hire fast, fire faster. The real problem of fire faster is you don't know if a people is delivering until the salesperson is fully ramped. And if he's an account executive, it takes 9 months to ramp. And so you don't know if she will hit the quota until 9 months. So quick reaction are incredibly important. The last thing is hiring the wrong leaders. Especially if you have, let's say, let's imagine a 1,000 people company. You have the C-level, the CEO, the C-level. You have VP, SVP. So you have directors, and you have manager, and then you have the contributors. If you hire chief sales officer that have a weak VP level line, and this person is not hands-on, is not doing skip level meeting, does not own the numbers. He rely on the rosy prediction that never happened of the SVP that is average. So you have this person that does not own the business. Neither the reporting line own the business. So you need to get rid of this person and get someone that knows the numbers and also can question what its reporting line says. Otherwise, I mean, if you, and this happens usually when you hire people from a way bigger company of yours that relies on strong processes with strong reporting line. They are blind, they are political animals, use it to speak with the board and with the C-level, playing politics, and not going and doing their own job.
And talking about the HR department, which obviously a startup doesn't have an HR department, it's a CEO or the founders doing most of the hiring. At what point, at what stage of how many employees or how big do you think there should be a proper HR, at least one person dedicated to HR, and then at what point does a chief people officer need to come in, or some, just kind of the structure of that team, which when you're a startup at the beginning you don't really think about, but it's good to have in mind as you start growing?
Yeah, first of all, I want to question your wording of coming in a chief people officer, because there is also the option to grow someone to become a chief people officer. But and it's a topic that needs to be touched, because giving people the possibility to grow inside the organization create a good culture. Because wow, I'm staying in the organization because someone is giving me opportunities. That said, what happened to the HR, how the department evolves? First of all, yes, day one, when you are small, you need recruiters, you need to hire people. Then the second part is training. I mean, you have hired people, but you need to train people to let them grow and let them enable to do the job. And then there is the third part, which still probably we start requiring some kind of skills related to specific jobs, which is compensation and career planning. Having a super solid framework of compensation that says you are here, you are compensated, we have a range for your role, which is here and here based on the seniority. Your performance will be evaluated in this way. Your bonus will be cash or LTIP, long-term incentive, that means equity, blah, 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 blah. This requires kind of solid structure. And then after, you need to start with the, I say, funny and interesting HR jobs, which are HRVP, which is the HR business partner, an HR person that is specifically a partner of the C-level of a specific department, let's say HRBP for product, HRBP for sales, and stuff like that, which is helping the C-level or the SVP or whatever to manage people. And then there is corporate branding, employer branding, which is what makes your company attractive. So let's imagine that we hire a VP of HR for the compensation and career planning. When you hire a person, the first thing you want to understand as quick as possible is if that person is a stretched SVP or VP or have the potential to become an SVP or a C-level. In this case, when you have realized this, you can decide if to hire a chief people officer from outside or to try to grow this person and give career opportunities inside the organization.
But at what point do you think there needs to be a dedicated, like at what point of the growth, like how many people in the company does the founder needs to step a little bit out of this
the founder should partner with the VP of HR. Let's say, this question requires a disclaimer. It depends on how fast you are growing. If you are a 50 people company growing 5 employees per year, it's different than having a fast company hiring 50 people per year. In a fast growth organization, I think that you are going to lose control of 50 people.
Okay, now it's interesting just to give a little bit of an idea of size. And as Docebo scaled, what were some of the strategies that you employed as a company to retain and attract top talent? Because obviously it's a big question, especially in tech. There's a lot of competition. Salespeople can go get more money elsewhere. Like, what was some of the good things that you've done you could share?
So money is a big factor, and sometimes, especially in moments when there is too much liquidity, you cannot retain people only with money. I think if you have a company that is probably more than 100 employees, you have seen this kind of KPI going up and down during and after COVID. The people attrition KPI, that means people that are spontaneously resigning during COVID, skyrocketed. Because there was so much liquidity out there that really I have seen junior people, 25 years old, zero experience, getting offered $300,000 plus equity to go to work somewhere else. But then when it goes down, the economic cycle goes down, you have the employees that are coming back, what we call boomerang employees. Sometimes you accept them because they are smart, the other, thanks but no thanks. So this question is very broad, and I think that one big pillar is company culture and company value. I think that to have a company that cannot rely only on money and compensation, and when I say compensation, I mean cash, bonus, equity, everything, all the package, is to create a company that feel people welcome, that feel people have an impact. Whatever you do, the icon of the software will have an impact because it's deployed on many thousand customers. And also be accepted and protected for what they are. So we have created this concept of Fortress Docebo, where Fortress means if you are an employee, you and your family are inside the fortress, and we will do whatever possible to protect you. Anecdotically, on 15 January 2020, all our offices had boxes of face masks for all the employees. 15 January, not 15 February. So we were already paranoid to protect our people. Another element is that Docebo, if I'm not wrong, have 10% of the hire coming from referrals. That means employees that put their reputation in front of the company saying, this guy is smart, this lady is smart, please hire them. And also, but I want to be extremely careful on that. Diversity and inclusion in terms of being open to anything, politically, from geographically, orientation of whatever, in Docebo have always been a normal thing to do. And frankly speaking, I'm not looking very in a very positive manner when this ideology become ideology and become just a tool to attract people. I mean, if you are open to gender diversity or whatever, it's because you do it for the greater good. Because it's the right thing to do, it's obvious. And not because there is now something that popped up politically and then you need to embrace an ideology. And, Docebo was in Milano, probably the first company established in Italy to sponsor the Pride Week. And the party was crazy, and everything was beautiful. And now we have a meaningful amount of people coming from the LGBTQIA+ community.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, people can feel when it's authentically done, rather than like a checkbox because now you have to have the gender diversity.
Or the worse, it's because it's political, because you are on this side or that side.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of company culture, we spoke a little bit about it with Josede, and he was saying about how, culture at Airbnb scaled from a startup to a huge company. What about at Docebo? Like, were you very intentional in scaling the culture, going from a startup to obviously like a big company now on the IPO'd and so on?
Yeah, I mean, the culture topic became problematic and became a big topic, especially after COVID. Because you have to imagine that Docebo for 7 years was a company of 20 people, where CEO and others were roaming around the desk, all together in the same office, and I knew not the name not only of the wife and the son, but of the dog. And then we started opening offices, and the first thing we had to learn is that there were, different culture pattern. I mean, what's Juneteenth? Why Juneteenth is a holiday in the United States? We had to learn a lot of things that were not a European thing. And then COVID happened. At that time, Docebo was 300 employees. 2020. 2023, we closed to 1,000 employees. And the shift was, let's say, 4 offices, 8 offices, all the time zone in the world you can imagine, with most of the people who work from home. So they are, and I was, before leaving the company, try to reinvent rituals and a new way to, try to build and keep the Docebo culture, the Doce Fam, like we call it, bind together despite the forces that were playing differently. And the biggest forces is the anti-gravity forces. It is not like doing like this, but it's doing like this because it's expanding. And it's a problem. And the first thing we do is continuously monitor the culture of the company. There is this culture AMP software that highlight what are the problems and what we need to do to address it. There is another company in Italy that does the same job as Trinet. Company culture is a big topic.
Especially
and also the ritual to address. I mean, you can have town hall, you can have podcast, you can have ask me anything, but it's a job.
No, absolutely. And it's also a way to retain people and attract top talent. Just time check. There's one more question from me before we open to everybody. If you had to give an advice to people, there's a lot of founders here who are probably more towards like 0 to 50. What are some of the advice that you'd like to share to everybody kind of starting out and thinking about building their team? How long-term do they need to think about and strategize?
So, first of all, you need to keep this product culture where you have 2 different forces playing against each other. One is the disruptive innovator, the people that says, I don't give a shit about what the customer wants. This is what they want because I decided what they want. And on the other side, there should be the incremental innovation team that say, yes, but we need also this and that. If you keep a balance of them, you will not lose nor the innovation and not the customer needs. Second, capital efficiency. Try always to have a kind of revenue system that allows you to shift from EBITDA negative to EBITDA positive in maximum 3 quarters. If you have this, no debt, and a good cash cushion, you will sleep well and you will protect your employees.
Thank you, Claudio. Opening up the floor for questions. Oh, perfect, done.
Yeah, thank you, Claudio, and congrats on the journey. I think you're an inspiration to many Italian founders in the room. And the question I had was on product market fit. You said it took you around 7 years to get to 1 million. So my question was, as an Italian founder, how was the road to product market fit, and was it something that you found in Italy or in another geographical market? And a follow-up question, did you lose market fit along the way to 1,000 employees and at finally again?
No, first of all, the market fit was the day one. Because, I got, when we released the 0.1 version of Docebo, we got a phone call from a big Italian television group say, I want to do learning and I need this software. So the product market fit was there. What was strange, but strange for you, not strange for a 2005, for a company founded in 2005, is that it took me 7 years to get to 1 million, and then coincidentally, after 1 million, the software as a service cloud logic started, the SaaS. SaaS was not a thing in 2011. So we changed the business model, but the most important thing, we opened in the United States. United States was the game changer for us.
Hello. My question is, you said you stayed 7 years before reaching the 1 million. So how could you stay sexy to hire rockstars employees after 7 years being in market?
Guys, 2005 was not 2020. I mean, there were not 2,000 startups raising money without a market fit and without experience out there competing. There were companies that was doing software, was a job like another job, was like this. We need to do bills, we need to pay bills, we need to have a bigger office, we need to serve the Italian customer at our best. And it's a business like it should be. Business is not sexy. Business is a business. Business is a company that has a social role. The first role is protect employees. If you have capital or not, you still have to protect your employees. Sorry, I'm going philosophical.
But I think the pace of the growth, to get to 1 million in 7 years nowadays is not seen as something, it's seen as like there's a problem, right?
Oh yeah,
but
but I did it without capital. Of course, if you have investors that give you 3 million and it takes to you 7 years to go to 1, you have a problem.
Okay, but sorry.
No, go ahead.
The problem, I've got similar problems, so I took quite a long time to get to 1 million and I had no funding, so it's similar in a certain way. But the problem is that the market, to hire a rock star, is a market, so I have to convince that person to come to my place and not to another one. We protect employees, we are a bit positive and all this stuff, but still, they have more money, they make more, they spend more in marketing, they have a brand, a bigger brand, a stronger one, so it's also a question of trust, no? And after 7 years without this kind of expenses in our journey, it's quite tough to explain that we have this kind of growth compared to others that are just...
But for us we were 20 people company. I was doing sales, cleaning the roof, and doing a desk, and there were software engineers, and sometimes we were experimenting marketing, but in the meantime we started HR. It was like a family. I mean, we didn't feel the need of hiring a rock star. What was the feeling that we had was we need to transform each other, we need to go abroad. And then I found the rock star that was Alessio. But the transformational thing was not, I need to find the rock star to go abroad, but I need to go abroad, and then I need to find the rock star, and then I need to find the capital to pay the rock star.
Can you pass the microphone?
Thank you so much for your narration. Thank you, much appreciated. How you decided to go to the US? I mean, why you felt the need to a change? And of course, then all the rest. But after 7 years, whoop, let's go there.
No, it's
And
not
the
like
burger,
this, you know.
no, something more.
First of all, I don't know if some of you is a big fan like me of Nassim Nicholas Taleb, the guy that wrote The Black Swan. He say that you catch opportunities. I mean, that lucky plays a big role in the creation of wealth or company, but lucky comes only if you have your antenna open to look for opportunities, okay? So what happened? First of all, the ambition to go abroad started day one. The second year we developed Docebo was we were already localized in 45 languages. So the ambition was we want to become like this, but there were not the opportunities. So what happened that the actual Docebo CEO, that was my dolphin, a guy that I tried to help to make his own career, and he was successful. Alessio was working in Atlanta for another e-learning company. In that moment, the other e-learning company was not doing well. Alec texted me on LinkedIn. We catched up together. He spent 1 year with me, and he said, "Cla, there is a big opportunity in the United States." I gave him $65,000 check. He opened the office in Atlanta, and he never asked an additional capital. So it was like, and we tried before, we tried to go to Dubai with Finmeccanica because there were opportunities there. That was not the right timing. But, I mean, that was sliding doors, but I was ready to catch the opportunity.
Thank you.
Oh, there's two, yeah.
Assuming that you have to do everything from scratch nowadays, of course.
No thanks.
2005 was way different than 2024 right now. So how long do you think will it take you with no investment to reach what you've reached in 7 years? So like, what's the procedure and how long?
Probably 6.5. No, I think I will try. I mean, first of all, there is a big chance that I will go bankrupt. Because, I mean, no, I'm not kidding. I mean, lucky and, timing play a big role also for me. So it's not given for granted that I will be successful again. Let's say that there are some best practice that I will put in place. For example, I've seen this company, Friday. Those guys are smart. And I'm saying, those are the guys that will kill Docebo or someone similar. They want to bootstrap the company. They built a product which is small, nice, in a very boring vertical that is compliance. No one wants to sell to compliance because there is zero budget. But they started selling to very big companies to the compliance office with a strategy to expand in other departments. I think that this is something that will bring me to will bring the company that I will never found again to like 1 million in 1 year. Because it's a smart strategy. But now I'm smart. Before, I mean, now I'm retired but smart. Before I was not retired and dumb.
I think there are some questions back there.
Thank you so much. That was really inspiring. I still had a question, if you could maybe elaborate also on how you continuously protect also your culture in this extreme growth, because you also mentioned, the remote setup also played into this. So I was super curious to learn a little bit more.
Yeah, but I mean, I probably you will be disappointed because I don't feel that I have done a good job on keeping the culture. I mean, the fact is that hyper growth undermines the culture by definition. And if you are not prepared to tackle those problems, preparing the ritual ahead, you will try to, to fix brakes of a Formula One car while running a Grand Premium. So I think that now I will be a little bit more prepared, and that's why I've built this curricula to say you have to envision now what will be the opportunities and problems at 250, 500, 1,000 employees. And that's why you need a blueprint of execution, because you don't have to be like me. You need to be prepared and better than me.
Thanks, Claudio. It was inspiring. Nice to meet you, Matteo. I have a quick question about, are you solo founder, right? And if so, will you do it again, or will you look
Can you repeat, sorry?
Are you a solo founder? Did you found Docebo alone, or no? And if so, will you do it again, or will you look for a co-founder?
So, no, I think that Fabio, the actual Chief Product Officer, I consider him a co-founder, but I consider also Alessio a co-founder, because, and Francesca, the CHRO, that joined in 2008, because Ale joined in 2012, but we were 1 million, so, I mean, we were startupping, and he has been a very great partner. So I've been lucky in all my life to be surrounded by great ethical people that were great partners. And I think that, the Docebo success belongs 20% to me and 80% to the others.
And to follow up to that, so obviously luck, we talked about luck, but luck aside, what was it about you that you think attracted top talent, or these people that clearly helped grow Docebo?
Not playing games, be honest, be transparent, sometimes rude, sometimes grumpy. Those are not good things. But, people always say that, you are a pain in the ass, but you will never kill me behind my shoulder.
So being true to yourself.
Yeah,
and
completely.
Are there any other questions? Well, if there's no other question, I think, oh, sorry.
What? I think there is one important question we should make to Claudio, which is what your being Italian helped you out in making Docebo what is Docebo?
This is a good question. Two things. I was 2 weeks ago. I was in Paris helping the Edu Capital venture capital fund doing a session to their portfolio company, and they were saying, "Dear French guys, Italians are better than you on doing internationalization, and let me tell you why. Because you are lucky. You have Paris and nothing else. Everything is there. There are the L'Oréal, Louis Vuitton, Hermès, all those companies that are open to buy. So you have a big captive market, and then you can arrive easily to 5 million without feeling the need to go international. On the other side, Italy, that continuously celebrates this stupid concept of small business is nice, don't have this captive market. So if you want to grow fast, don't do like me, it takes 7 years to arrive to that, but you need to go international. This is the topic number one. The topic number two is, you remember that I say that there are the disruptive innovators, that they don't give a shit about what customer wants, and the incremental innovators. I'm on the disruptive innovator side. I came to the industry of e-learning without knowing nothing about e-learning. So when we have built the product, we have built it as we imagine, not as the competitor have done, try to mimic and replicate. So we were like the, how is calabrone in the...
In English.
The bumblebee that should never fly, but it flies. And so this allows us to build a product that was completely different from other products. Because we were living on the border of the empire in Italy without being exposed to competitors in US. And good story, true story, we were so under the radar that while we were conquering US, our biggest competitor didn't realize that Docebo existed. We were not in their competitive intelligence radar up to the IPO. So one day they say, what's a learning company in the NASDAQ? Who are them? Who are them? And then, I mean, I cannot say anything because otherwise I get a lawsuit, but things went well for Docebo.
Thank you so much, Claudio. Thank you for sharing your blueprint and your experience with everyone here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Maybe just one last word from my side. Now we can go upstairs and we have the aperitivo and a bit of networking. So thank you for being here.
Just one thing, just from me and Giovanni and in terms of VC, we just want to say a big thank you to BCG, of course, who's been on the second season with us, and obviously Bizplace, the girls from Made It, which also been from the start, and obviously Claudio, Joe, and the remaining founders. We always have the ambition to create more and more projects supporting startups, bringing the whole Silicon Valley and world to Italy. So thank you, and see you upstairs.